I'm here today at Motiongate Dubai. Check out this entrance. This might be one of the most impressive theme park entrances you'll see. It's absolutely huge. My second visit here, I came here in 2019. Since then, they've actually opened 2 new roller coasters, a Mara spinner and an S&S free spin. So it'll be exciting to get on those, as well as explore the rest of the park, get back on some of my favourite rides from last time. They do have a Mac multi-launch. They also have a couple of okay dark rides, a couple of not so okay dark rides. So let's get inside and we'll have a mosey around. So inside the park now, this opening area, this main street is really impressive. Very reminiscent of a Universal Studios style park. It's really well themed. I've just been informed by the guys at the front there, unfortunately, that Madagascar Mad Pursuit won't be open today, which is a real shame because it's one of the best roller coasters here. But that's the way it goes sometimes. It's also going to be a very hot day today. Temperatures expected to reach 43 degrees. So I'm going to apologise in advance if I deteriorate into a sweaty mess, because this is going to be a very humid one. I think I'm going to head straight for Dreamworks first, just so I can get a bit of air conditioning. I think I might be diving in and out of here a few times during today just to experience the coolness. But this whole indoor section of the park, Dreamworks, super impressive. 4 sections in there, Madagascar, Kung Fu Panda, Shrek and How to Train Your Dragon. So let's get inside here and have some fun. Oh, that's so nice. So it appears as though the areas are open, so I guess it's just the main rides within some of these areas that are closed, although there is nobody else in here at all. But as you can see, the theming is fantastic. Look at this awesome huge dragon. So Unstoppable Awesomeness is the main ride in here, which is closed today. Not too disappointed about that one. It is just a screen-based dark ride using that very old school system that the likes of Wild Arctic at SeaWorld used and Star Tours. They're pretty jerky and naff, so I can live without that one. This centerpiece in here really is awesome, isn't it? Look at how cool that is. So yeah, confirmation via a sign outside the entrance there that Mad Pursuit is definitely closed today. So it's a shame, but it's what happens, you know. There's always that risk that a ride might be unavailable due to maintenance. But it is probably one of the best Gerztlauer roller coasters, so oh well. So we've covered 2 of the sections there in about 5 minutes, neither of which have any major rides open. However, How to Train Your Dragon, if I remember rightly, is something a bit special. So 2 rides in here, Dragon Gliders, which is the Mack suspended family roller coaster / dark ride, which is awesome. Going to try and get on that in a second. They also have the Swinging Viking, which is a pirate ship, and a very well themed one at that. It is quite dark in here, so I'm not sure how much gets picked up, but it's so impressively themed. So Dragon Gliders is also having technical issues, although the guys at the front there do anticipate it will open soon. Not a great start in Dreamworks today, but it's still nice to walk around. It is such an incredibly themed area of the park, this, that and it's cool, so that helps. Shrek's Merry Fairy Tale Journey is also unavailable. And here's Shrek. Hello. We'll get a hug. Thank you. So a fairly unsuccessful wander around Dreamworks there with very little open at current. So I think we're going to bear the heat and go and ride some roller coasters. So I can see the Smurfs roller coaster is operating. Obviously that's not really top priority. So I'm going to go to Columbia Pictures, see if we can get some Hunger Games action in. It is very, very quiet here, which I did kind of expect. It's not a park that gets super busy, but also, like I said, it's going to be a very hot day today. So park hours here today, it opened at 11 o'clock. It's open till 8 PM tonight. So hopefully we'll get some dark rides in, which will be good. My ticket actually said 12 till 9 though. Luckily I did look last night and I got here a little bit earlier than I originally planned. I've actually got a 2-park ticket today as well. So I can go across to Legoland. That closes at 6 PM. So I'm probably going to dart in between the two. The Legoland video will be separate. So since I was last here, they've added Now You See Me. This whole section is all completely new. This has all been opened up. I do like that funky ceiling. And of course it does provide a bit of shade too, which is very welcome. So Now You See Me High Roller is the Mara spinner that you can see in the background there. And this might look as though it's open. It is. It has a 5-minute rate. So let's go in and have a look. Oh, we're on stage. There's my loyal followers there. Oh, see you later then. Cheers. Guess they unsubscribed. They do know how to theme a queue line out here. Well, apart from this very dark stairwell anyway. So Now You See Me was pretty good fun. It was quite a different layout for a Mara spinner there. It included a straight first drop, which I don't think I've experienced one of those before. Quite a steep drop as well, which I sort of experienced backwards with a little bit of spin. Didn't spin massively, despite the fact we had pretty much the perfect weight distribution in the vehicle, with just me on one side and 2 lads in the other side. But yeah, it was fun. A new cred. So around the back of John Wick here, I'm not sure if that's open, or I can hear screams from a roller coaster, so maybe Hunger Games is open. Yeah, this whole area is completely different. Like when I came here in 2019, it was literally just Hunger Games. They've really opened it up and brought a whole bunch of, I say a whole bunch, 2 more roller coasters in. But if you can add 2 more roller coasters to an area, that's never a bad thing. So Capital Bullet Train, also on a 5-minute queue, which probably means walk on. This was my favourite ride here last time, so quite looking forward to getting back on this. So definitely aiming for back row on this one. It does make a hell of a difference when you do the reverse spike. Got to get that hang time. Capital Bullet Train there, not as good as I remember it. When I first rode it, it was only my 2nd Mac multi-launch, so I think I was still quite wowed by them. And since then, roller coasters have just come on leaps and bounds. Does have some good elements though. Like I said, the reverse launch into the reverse spike, that's really good fun. You get a good couple of seconds of pure weightlessness there. The loop, you get quite a nice bit of hang time at the back. There's also quite a nice airtime hill where you sort of come around the corner and bank down into it. That's quite cool. It is very short though, and I do feel as though it's lacking a couple of elements, particularly towards the end there. You do a corkscrew and then sweep around and it just ends, and you feel as though there was space there for a bit more. So I'll try and get some more rides with it later, because it is dead here and there was no queue at all. There was only me and 2 others on the train. Much like Velociraptor at IMG, with an empty train, it was quite rattly. So it'd be interesting to see how it rides when it's a bit fuller. If it gets a bit fuller, I'm not sure it will. But I'll go back to that, get some more rides on later. From the brake run, it didn't look like the John Wick roller coaster was doing much at all. So that's the other cred here that I need to get. So fingers crossed it does open. Let's see. And John Wick's open contract is more like John Wick closed contract. I fingers crossed that one opens later. I was told there would be some delayed openings today, so that might just be one that opens a bit later on. You can't see much of it off-ride, but there you go, a little bit of a glimpse of Now You See Me High Roller. I do like this through here though, this is cool, and like I say, really awesome just to have a bit of shade. Absolutely none of these look like they're open though. I'm not sure if they're just storefronts as a facade or whether any of these are actual shops. You know what, I think they are facades. You know what, they've gone to a lot of effort just to theme all this. So there is also a Hunger Games dark ride here called Panem Aerial Tours. I don't remember this being that fantastic, but let's have a ride anyway. They do know how to theme here. Why haven't you polished the brass moustache?
Due to the anesthesia art ultra velocity of the craft. It has some unique capabilities. This marvel.
Great to see that these citizens are provided support for lower back issues. So Panem Aerial Tour is a fairly straightforward simulator ride. You board your vehicle, you move into a sort of wraparound screen, and then it just plays stuff at you while the vehicle moves a bit. Now, the problem with it is if you look to your left or right, you can clearly see where the screen ends and the not very attractive black wall behind it with just bits of insulation and stuff stuck to it. So yeah, they could do a better job there, just kind of making it a more immersive experience. As a screen-based dark ride, it's not terrible, but it's nothing that's going to set the world alight either. So a one and done, not much of a wait there either. It said a 15-minute wait, but really they were just waiting for the previous ride to end so they could board us for the next one. So it was about 5 minutes, and I didn't mind standing around in a nice air-conditioned queue line either. So I think while I'm here, I'm going to get another ride on Capital Bullet Train. Seeing there's no queue, I'm going to try and get on the front, and then we'll go and explore a bit more of the park. So second ride on Capital Bullet Train there. Oh wow, is it feeling hot now. Like, I really noticed it on that ride. You would think being on a roller coaster, having a bit of wind would help, but it seemed to have the opposite effect. Like, that just felt so hot going around that course. It's still a fun ride. Obviously being at the front, you don't get the experience so much of the reverse spike. It's more of a kind of a little pirate ship style jolt of air rather than a full sort of 2 seconds that you get if you're at the back. Bit more hang time coming out of the loop, which was quite nice, but yeah, again, it's just slightly too short. It needs another couple of elements, and that could be a really good roller coaster, but as it stands, it's kind of fallen down the rankings quite a bit because, like I say, I think roller coasters have just come on leaps and bounds since this was opened. So as you come off the main street there, you have this central area around this fountain, and then all your separate sections of the park come off of here. So you have Lionsgate there, you have Dreamworks just behind the trees there, Smurfs Village is dead ahead, and then Columbia Pictures, which is where I'm heading next. I do like the idea of the park in theory to have these different areas themed around different studios. It is quite a cool concept, and the theming is great. I'm just not sure they execute it in terms of the best rides, and that's kind of a bit of a common theme out here. Hey, I feel like I should be running out of a public library. So I'm going to go and give Green Hornet high-speed chase a go. If my memory serves me correctly, the chase is not that high speed, more medium speed. So I just had a ride on Green Hornet high-speed chase. It's fine. It's the Ghostbusters bobsleigh coaster, so it does feature some quite wild, mousy type elements. It's a decent enough family coaster. It's nothing special. Mid-course was a bit sharp, got a little jab to the guts from the lap bar there. But yeah, otherwise it's a fine roller coaster. Grabbed myself a milkshake afterwards as well, just to cool down a little bit. And now we're getting some Ghostbusters vibes. So I'm hopeful that this is open. It is. I don't recall getting very wet on this, but I am well up for a drenching today, so fingers crossed. Oh, I'm getting wet. Yay! The water's warm. Yeah, so this pole thing here, not very comfortable when you slam into a wall. We have slowed down to a crawl here. I wonder if that weird burger has anything to do with it. Come on, come on, hey! Oh. Cloudy with a chance to meet Paul's river expedition was a fine rapids. I didn't get particularly wet. There were a couple of like sections where water was spraying out of elephants and stuff. Fortunately, that water was warm, so it didn't really refresh me too much. Got a couple of splashes on the legs, but nothing too significant. A couple of bits there where it really just slows down to a crawl and then sort of takes you back in some more rapids again. Not sure why, but there you go. Now, one ride I'd completely forgotten about was Underworld 4D, which I remember being quite good actually. The next show time's in quarter of an hour, so I will come back to that after I've had a go on Blast Off. Yeah, let's go and do a shot tower, Zombieland style. And once again, no issues with the queue line theming at all. And nice to walk into a nice cool queue line as well. I don't think I've ever seen a queue line like this for a shot tower. Zombieland Blast Off was fine. It's a shot tower. It does what shot towers do. Not the tallest, but there was a little pop of air at the top. It then sort of bounced around a bit, took you back up to the top, and then did a full drop sequence. Now, probably the most depressing part of that is if I looked over to my left, I could see a nice GCI wooden roller coaster that was built for the Bollywood parks, which never opened, and that's such a depressing sight to see. You know, a quite decent looking layout there, and no one's ever got to experience it. So I'm finding myself around by Hotel Transylvania here. Now, don't be fooled by the facade. While it may look good, the ride is absolute pants, and I think I'm going to give it a miss. I might do it later because it's so quiet, but no, let's walk straight past that and head to Ghostbusters. So if my memory serves me correctly, the queue building and queue line itself are the highlights of this ride. It's a trackless shooting dark ride, but it wasn't the best. So let's see if my memories are wrong or whether it is just a bit pants. Don't let water peck near that. So I've boarded Ecto 1, got my proton gun. Let's go bust some ghosts.
Supernatural disturbance detected. Proton packs activated.
I mean, there's been no effort made to disguise that that's a screen. This has the... Well, I don't think my gun's working. Let's try another one. That one works. The Scaleri brothers! Okay, that's quite cool. Come on, Gozer, you bell end. Stay Puft takes damage. Ghostbusters merch. I'll be honest, I love Ghostbusters, so I'm super tempted. Ghostbusters feels like a bit of a missed opportunity, to be honest. I mean, with that property, you could do such an incredible dark ride. I can see why they went with the shooting sort of approach, that, you know, it could be quite fun to go around and shoot some ghosts like a Ghostbuster, but doesn't really work at all. A couple of things they could have done. A couple of things they could have done to make it a bit more impressive. When you shoot a ghost, they sort of explode. And if there was maybe like a water effect or a spray effect, it would make that feel a bit more impactful. The screens are so obvious. There are some practical sets in there too, but it's not very well integrated. It all feels very small, particularly the bit with Gozer at the end. The screen it's like you're watching your TV at home. There's no real effort made to make it a big set piece. And obviously that's the sort of finale. So yeah, a bit underwhelming. I think this whole Columbia area in general is a little underwhelming. It's fantastically well themed, but none of these rides really stands out as anything special at all. But I do quite enjoy hearing the Ghostbusters music as I wander around. Into the Smurfs village. So it looks like some construction is going on. Again, really well themed. Yeah, lots of construction around here. I'm going to go for a ride on a Smurfs studio tour. That moment when you walk out of the heat into the air conditioning, oh, amazing.
Hello everyone, welcome to Smurf Studios. We're super excited to have you here today. Papa Smurf is waiting. Smurf up the game.
You picked the perfect day to visit. We're serving the new blockbuster movies on
Welcome.
I'm going to be the star of their movie.
And action.
Hurry!
We'll tell them to bring us Smurf down.
After I catch you, I'll be the star of this movie.
Call me vile weed. You call this hospitality? Serve this vicious beastie!
Next time, I will be the star.
You can now help me discover new stars.
It was great to work with you. Let's do lunch.
We'll see you in the movies.
So that was fine. It's another trackless dark ride. Some quite fun animatronics there. A couple that were mistimed as well though. You know, I'm not really the target audience for that, I don't think. But yeah, I suppose the younger people may enjoy that. Just wandered into the queue now for the Smurf Express. Little family coaster. Have to say it's a really cool station building. So Smurf Express was fun. Actually pulled some not so bad G's on some of those helixes. Something that amazes me though is that thrill rides now have evolved, so you get these really comfortable bucket seats that sort of mould around you. They're padded, they feel comfortable. Then you go on a little kiddie coaster like that and it's just hard plastic bench. So I end up holding on more on those sort of rides just to avoid sort of hurting my back and stuff. But there you go. Right, I'm going to head back into Dreamworks now and see if Dragon Gliders has opened, because that is one of the best rides here. It'll be really disappointing if that doesn't open today, along with Madagascar, because like I say, they are two of the high points of this park. So, fingers crossed. Again, a really impressive entrance for this. Look at that. And it looks like a walk-on. I think I might get some re-rides on this bad boy. Fantastic to get back on Dragon Gliders there. That ride does not disappoint, and that ride system by Mack, I'm really surprised there haven't been more of those built by parks around the world. If you've ridden Arthur at Europa Park, it's exactly the same system as that. A perfect combination between dark ride and roller coaster, where you're suspended from the track but the vehicles also spin. It kind of launches, or maybe it's powered, I'm not quite sure, but it'll pick up speed and stop and show sections of animatronics and screens. Really good ride, one of the best here without question, and really happy that I got on that again. No queue, so I fully intend to get more rides on that later, but right now I think it's time for a bit of grub. Look at this theming for a pirate ship. Stop for a bite to eat and order myself a succulent Chinese meal. So I've returned to Motiongate for the evening, just spent a couple of hours over at Legoland there. As I mentioned in that vlog, a single park ticket here is £65 and a two park ticket is £75. So with them being so quiet out here, it's absolutely achievable to do both parks in a day. Legoland's only a 5-minute walk through Riverland, so it's all fairly convenient, and if you want to hit a multi-park trip, then that's the way to do it. So come back over here. The park's open until 8 o'clock this evening. It's currently around 5:20, so I've got 2.5 hours or so to get a few more rides in. The sun is just going down, so in an hour or so it'll be dark, so we can get some night rides on a few roller coasters. For now, I'm going to go and head into the air-conditioned area of Dreamworks, grab myself a drink, another ride on Dragon Gliders, and then we'll see how the evening takes me. So another ride there on Dragon Gliders, and that really is a world-class family roller coaster slash dark ride. And I'll tell you what, I think one of those would work really well at a park like Alton Towers or Chessington, maybe even Legoland. They really are the perfect family coaster. It makes you wonder why more haven't been built. As far as I'm aware, it's just this and Arthur over at Europa Park. My feeling is they're probably quite expensive. Mack coasters don't come cheap, and also the amount of screens and practical effects in there, there's some huge animatronics and like massive dragons and stuff, so I can't imagine that was a cheap ride, but it's worth every penny because it's such a cool attraction. I think it may well be the best thing here, who knows, but I really enjoyed that, and I would love to see more of them pop up all over the place because it is a really good family coaster type. It manages to be thrilling in places. It's able to do stop-start type actions which aid story. Obviously the ride vehicles can spin round, so you can direct your guest's eye line to certain things and to aid storytelling. Yeah, perfect family coaster. There should be more of them. So I've just had a ride on the swinging Viking. That's a fairly forceless pirate ship, to be honest, but it is a family area, I guess. That being said, the other guests seem to be terrified, so maybe I've just built up a tolerance to them. Either way, theming is fantastic. It was quite cool doing a pirate ship indoors where you can kind of get up near the ceiling, but yeah, it just felt like it needed to go a bit higher every time, you know. You didn't really get lifted out of your seat or get the stomach drop feeling, but there you go. It's a family pirate ship. What do you expect?
This is the story of how your mother and I met. Once upon a time in a land far, far away, there was a beautiful swan.
By order of Lord Farquhar, we are hereby authorized to place you under arrest and transport you to a designated resettlement facility.
And here they are, Cinderella, Snow White, and Princess Fiona.
Now I need to find a fool to go fetch her for me.
Hey, Farquhar, I've a bone to pick with you.
Ah, ogre, just the one I'm looking for.
princess locked in a tower and beset by a dragon is rescued by a brave knight, and then they share true love's first kiss.
So you're really an ogre?
Well, that explains a lot.
Oh, it's disgusting! God, I order you to get that ugly beast out of my sight! All right, do it! Yeah, drag it here, I'm not freaking.
The only saying on that can be down to love. I just knew this would be happening.
So Shrek's Merry Fairy Tale is actually better than I remember it. It is quite a charming little dark ride, that. Of course, if you're a fan of Shrek, you're going to love it. I'm fairly ambivalent towards Shrek personally, but even I quite enjoyed that. There's some quite cool animatronics and some quite humorous little jokes in there. So it's 6:15 in the evening and we're still rocking 38 degrees. Those are my cats, by the way, aren't they cute? So I'm going to go and head back into Lionsgate, see if this John Wick coaster eventually opened. It doesn't look promising, but let's go take a look. Wow, this is looking much nicer now that it's got a bit darker. How cool is this? Proper Vegas vibes. Well, John Wick open contract looks open, so I'm going to go and get my first ever SNS free spin. This will also be coaster number 250, so a bit of a landmark. No, I'm not sure it's going to be... Oh, no, it's still unavailable. So, the door is open, and yet it says unavailable. So, I guess I'm not getting it. I'm quite confused. Is it open? Is it not open? It's quite a cool queue line. Look at all these weapons and things. Well, I'm just going to wander through the queue and see what happens when I get to the station. This is really cool though. I wonder if these suits are bulletproof. I don't feel it. So I guess we're in the Continental. I can hear a roller coaster going around, but it's possible it could just be Capital Bullet Train next door. Oh, samurai vibes. John Wick open contract. I didn't know what to expect from an SNS free spin, but that was weird, I guess. Not the most comfortable experience. The vest restraints were quite tight. It's kind of similar to a Zack spin, really, and I'd imagine there's some people who would consider that to be blasphemy. It was reasonably fun. It was reasonably jolty. It's a typical pool landmark coaster, really. I don't tend to pick the best ones. Anyway, 250 credits knocked off. That's something, I guess. I'm not even sure what that had to do with John Wick. I mean, the queue line was great. Obviously, you're based in a Continental. If you've seen the films, those are the hotels where all the assassins go, but they're kind of a no-go zone for violence. The ride itself, I don't know what that has to do with John Wick, other than rolling around a lot. I suppose if you get someone into a headlock afterwards, then it's a John Wick type move. I don't know. It was okay. Maybe I should have waited for Manta tomorrow for my 250, but I'm glad I got the credit anyway. So it's getting dark now, which means rides become better by default. Clay Phillips. I'm a bit dizzy. So I was the only person on that car, and so it spun like crazy. And I'm not even sure I'll make it down these stairs without sort of stumbling down. That's one of the mad things here, is that you have these insanely well-themed queue lines, all these massive facades around the rides themselves. Then you get on the roller coaster and you're just on a plot of sand. It's like, you know what, if you're going to put some money into theming, theme the coasters too. It will look much better. The same can be applied to all the coasters in this Lionsgate area here. The SNS free spin, look, you've got all of that around it, and then the coaster itself is just on sand. And it's the same with Capital Bullet Train as well. You've got this crazy queue line with all the Hunger Games theming, and then nothing around the coaster itself. So I think it's sort of disproportionate investment in a way. I certainly would have done things slightly differently, but there you go. It gets dark so quickly out here too. It's awesome. Like, it's taken half hour to go from dusk to almost complete darkness, which means it could be a good time to ride a Mac multi-launch in the dark. So night ride on Capital Bullet Train there. Yeah, I think my feelings on it haven't really changed. Nearly every coaster feels better in the dark, doesn't it? And what I meant to say about the Now You See Me coaster, which applies to this as well, is that the lighting packages are really fantastic here. The uplighting is awesome. As we come around the corner here, I'll show you how amazing Capital Bullet Train looks at night. Lit up all in red, it really does look like a spectacular coaster. So dramatic. It's a shame that you can't really see much of it behind the trees. But when you get brought out onto the switch track, it looks so amazing at night. It's a shame in a way that they didn't add any other attractions to this area here, because this looks so cool. And yet it's all just a facade. They maybe could have squeezed a dark ride or a flat ride in here as well. Maybe a shop or two. Although having a toilet called Royal Flush, yeah, props for that. So theme parks at night just hit different, don't they? Even though it's not busy, the atmosphere is just improved. Everything looks better. I have to say, the lighting here is fantastic. Everything looks really nice. We've got the green Hornet coaster around here. That's looking quite nicely lit up as well. So I've just realised I didn't get round to doing Underworld earlier. We have one more showing today at 7:30, so I think I'm going to hang around. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs looks quite cool lit up. In fact, I may even go and give it another ride. Still no queues, so let's go and get mildly splashed again. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs was really cool in the dark. Actually, there were some sections there that you can't see off-ride that were lit up really well. It's still a very average rapids though, although on that occasion I did get a couple of splashes, which is an improvement on last time. So look at Smurfs Village here, which I've just wandered into by complete accident. Again, looks nice lit up at night, doesn't it? So I'm going to head back to Underworld 4D now as my last ride of the day. It is only a 4D cinema, but I remember it being quite good last time and quite visceral.
When you are immortal, you witness firsthand how every action, no matter how small, ripples through time.
I am a Death Dealer, a loyal soldier of the Vampire Clan.
So finished the day there on Underworld 4D. It's a pretty good 4D cinema, as I remembered really. What makes it kind of cool is that 90% of the film is shown through the POV of a vampire. So you get some quite cool action where you're like fighting werewolves up close and stuff like that. So also lots of use of the 4D tech with lots of seat movements, sprays, leg ticklers, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, decent way to end the night. So I'm going to head out to the front of the park now. I'll put in a few more shots of Motiongate all lit up, and I'll give my final thoughts as I get outside. So that concludes my day here at Motiongate Dubai. And much like many of the parks out here, I have some of the same praises and criticisms. Theming throughout is really good. I mean, you look at that entrance behind me, it really is stunning. It does lack a really major standout ride, with the exception of perhaps Dragon Gliders, which is a really world-class family coaster dark ride experience. But everything else feels very standard and off the shelf. The Mack coaster is fine, but again, Mack have done far better than that. It's obviously unfortunate I didn't get to ride Madagascar Mad Pursuit today, because that is a decent coaster. But overall, I've had a fun time here. It's quite enjoyable. Now, I made a comment about IMG the other day that it's a bit far out of the main sections of Dubai, and it doesn't have any transport here. And Dubai Parks and Resorts really does suffer from the same issue. So if you look on their website, they do offer free transportation, a free pickup if you have guests of 4 or more. But anything less than that, and you've just got to find your own way here by car or taxi. And I do think that affects the volume of people that turn up, because this is a huge resort. You know, at one point you had 3 theme parks, one of those is now closed. The Riverwalk section around here is full of restaurants, many of those have now closed as well. And you can see it failing, and that's a really horrible thing to see, because there is so much potential here. It's been built to such a high standard, and yet it doesn't feel like they're doing enough to bring the numbers in. And I think with a few more standout rides and with decent transportation from the main section of Dubai, it would do a lot better. So hopefully those things can be improved in the future. But I personally have had a pretty good fun time here, so I'd recommend it. It's worth a day to come over here, do Motiongate, spend a few hours at Legoland as well, and of course there are a few restaurants around, so you can grab yourself a bite to eat afterwards as well. So for me, it's worth coming here, but there are so many opportunities to improve, and I hope as the time goes on they can turn this into the world-class resort that it was intended to be, because the infrastructure is all here. It just needs the correct management, I think. But there we go. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. There's some more Dubai or UAE videos up here on the screen. Click one of those to watch me awkwardly walk around a theme park, and I shall catch you next time. Cheers.